YouTube, is Blue Eyes now a dead deck with the new ban list, which we have implemented early within our events? Sage went to 2, Maiden went to 2, and I've been saying a lot lately that if a deck's power level goes down even by just a little bit, that's enough to dramatically decrease the play rate of the deck. But then that could be a great benefit as you're no longer a main target, thus people take out side deck cards at their main deck and like Ogre, right? So the usage of Ogre should go down with the usage of Blue Eyes. So for the remaining Blue Eyes players, their deck maybe actually became a little bit better while also becoming less consistent. But again, you could replace your consistency cards, which is the Sage and Maiden, with maybe a Piri Reese map, which you weren't playing before. Maybe a Kaiser Seahorse. You could even play Bingo. So let's find out in the top 8 grand finale and top deck list, how good is Blue Eyes really after the ban list? By watching as long as you can, that greatly supports these events. Hajime.
There can only be one winner, and you're looking at it. Let's go.
Sage on summon. Woo. Imperm on Sage, I think that only makes sense because we have the context of being able to use Max C. Otherwise, Imperm on Sage is a no bueno. But if Max C is going to be maybe used on the resolution here, there you go. On the resolution, toggle on, that's the way. Do not chain it to the cross-out designate. Let them search. You don't want them to be changing their plays, even though it's obvious that they're searching a Maiden. Just get in the habit of using your cards at the last possible moment if that is going to be the best way to use it. You do have a Blue Eyes in the field plus double Veiler paired up with the Majesty. That's going to be pop 1 card in the field non-targeting plus double Monster Negate, triple Disruption Mate. Now, the Millennium cards famously do not get affected whatsoever by the Veilers. And I would argue that the Majesty activation here was a bit preemptive. I would prefer that they activate the Senjin, then you chain pop it, make them use that hard once per turn effect, where they can't just use another Senjin from the hand. We're going to discard Flame Burst to summon Diablosaur with no level 1 fires to Reborn. Veiler negate that Diablosaur, and thus we have 1 Veiler left. No cross-out designate onto Veiler, which of course we would have chained another Veiler to that effect. Let's summon from the back row, turning this into the Moon of the Closed Heaven. So this Veiler will be used on a sequence. If we could feel that they have the Veiler, then you don't make sequence, you make a Wave King Caesar, which Veiler does nothing to, or we just use the Veiler onto Lacrima if they don't have Engraver Engrave. So it's 2 checks. Check 1, do they activate Requiem? Yes. Check 2, is there no Engraver Engrave? If you pass those 2 checks, then it could possibly be a good idea to use Veiler or Imperm onto Lacrima. We're going to set up the Ultimate Fusion for a next turn play, as we still went into sequence, so I think Veiler on a sequence, personally, would have been much better used on the sequence instead. We have Lacrima on summon, Reborn the other Lacrima from Engrave, turning this into a Promethean Princess, which could Reborn our Flameburge. Is this game? Oh my goodness. 8,100 damage. Wait, Flameburge didn't push it into... Oh, you can't target because of True Light! True Light protecting us, not being targetable by the Flameburge play. Ain't no way. Burn for 1,200, not enough for a game. Pop a back row card, take out that True Light. With the Blue Eyes on the field, it can't be used with Ultimate Fusion, which we desperately wanted to use it with. What is the Fusion play? It's a Dragon plus a Blue Eyes to get into the Tyrant to recycle our True Light, which at the moment, we have not even another Dragon Engrave. Veiler could turn into a Dragon, and that Dragon could get a Blue Eyes into the graveyard, so the Ultimate Fusion would be usable from this single Veiler. Spirit Link, Mausoleum, dump Blue Eyes, Reborn Blue Eyes, activate Ultimate Fusion, non-target pop, Tyrant Dragon, wipe out the entire field, and reset a card Engrave. I pretty much just mapped out an incredible follow-up turn if we were to not get popped by that Promethean Princess. So Lucas knows that all of that was about to happen. Well, now that that has been stopped, we are in big trouble. This is a big problem. Even if the Blue Eyes were in grave right now, we could use Ultimate Fusion to still go into Tyrant. We would not get the non-target pop, but we'd still wipe the whole field and reset a trap. So that small detail of main phase 2 Flamebirds pushing Blue Eyes from the graveyard into the back row really screwed them up. This is like Kashtira locking up their zones. What the heck? Soon their back row would not even be activatable with anything. Nicely done. Let's hop into game 2. But again, I do think there was a little bit of an inflation of the numbers for this New Year anniversary because of the Sky Striker anime being added in game. That's probably a little artificial boost. We're going to summon our Spirit Link 1, grab a Mausoleum here. Nibiru is coming. We are ready. Still playing Ogre in our deck. So how good will Ogre be? Ogre can be used against the Senjin. That's kind of okay. Spirit Reborn. And if we turn this into the Spirit Dragon, that is when Nibiru will be popping off. That will be our 5th summon. So first we want to make sure the wishes... There's 2 benefits here of using wishes in grave. It now allows True Light during the opponent's turn to set a wishes for the next turn. Otherwise, it would not be able to do so while wishes is in grave. And also, you now have targeting protection. Nibiru, the field. After 5 summons, wipe away the entire field. Are you, like, where is your Primite, right? You play Primite in your deck. You're just not Primiting within this match at all. What is going on? Getting quite unlucky. We have Senjin into the back row, Ogre get poppin'. As I said, that is a great play. Now it looks like they're not playing Ogre themselves, or they're saving the cross out for a better play. We're going to put the Golem into the back row, activate Majesty, non-target pop it. So back-to-back Ogre, essentially stopping the Millennium play. Millennium ate up 2 hand traps and/or Disruption, and now we could follow up with Lacrima. And John Pork's like, all right, that's it. I used 3 Disruption to stop 3 plays. You're done. No, you're not. We still have Diablo Star. Diablo Star is going to be another great play. Let's come forth and summon. We could even equip onto this, turn it into a Princess, and then Reborn if we're even playing Princess. I don't think we have room for Princess in this deck, do we? There is the dreaded Diablo Star for the 4th play, I guess, as now go into Sequence. Sequence fuse with the graveyard, just 2 bodies into Lacrima, 5,500 defense token here. Let's add back the Engraver to search our deck for a Tract. Tract will get a Luri onto the field. We can also use Tract to fuse with the field or hand if we want to. To summon a Desiree, we have to include an Engraver. We're going to Phoenix. Phoenix, take out token. I should say take out the True Light, which would then take out the token. We're going to go for the Crossout Designate instead. We're thinning out our deck. Call by the Grave could be the top card of our deck. We don't want to draw it, just banish it. We have Engraver, Reborn. Did we already use the equipped effect of the Requiem? True Light, special summon Blue Eyes. The effect of this obviously not activated yet. We're going to equip Sequence, which can send a monster, but not the True Light. We're going to just send the Sequence summon for the deck. I mean, we just got started. What the heck? We just activated another unskippable cutscene here. Let's speed this up. Ashad Poplar, Divine Temple into the Snake-Eyed Diablo Star, Moon to the Closed Heaven. Poplar, trigger, put itself in the back row. We can now summon a Doom Dragon, which can push a card in the field to the back row. Let's go into the Fiendsmith, Desiree. Let's burn for 1,200 with Lacrima. Let's Ash, send Poplar, summon for the deck, Oak, Reborn Poplar. Use the effect of Oak. Not yet. We're first going to make a Masquerena. Trigger the Desiree, send the True Light, activate the True Light, wipe out the entire field of monsters, summon from the back row. We don't have 6,800 damage on the field yet. 66, we were so close. Trigger the Flamebirds with the boosted effect of the Divine Temple, and just like that, 9,200 damage. Going second with Fiendsmith, you not only have Requiem on Engraver to send a monster, you then could very easily summon Desiree, then get Desiree in the graveyard to send any card on the field to the graveyard for another form of removal. 2-0. Damn, Blue Eyes was not looking too good there. And a lot of people are having this, I think, incorrect insight and commentary saying that Blue Eyes was never really that good. It was. It just, Lacrima wasn't out yet. Lacrima came out, and then it nosedived, not complete nosedive. It just went down even more. I think it was really questionable from Konami to nerf Blue Eyes. I don't think it deserved the nerf because of the Lacrima release not even helping the deck whatsoever and helping out everyone else. Also, When did Primite come out? Was Blue Eyes like top tier for 1 month? What? Am I remembering things correctly? Primite Drill Beam came out in April. And then I guess from April 10th to May 10th is a month. And then I guess you get the month of May. So you kind of almost got 2 full months of being a good deck, a very good deck. And then now you get nerfed. Okay. You know, it's still quite shocking to me. Let's go. We have Memento Horse, Summon, Pop itself. We have our only form of disruption be the Baldrake. We could Fool Loss, but not yet. Baldrake was not able to banish the Gaddock because there was no Anguish on the field. So now instead, we're going to Baldrake banish the Anguish that's attempting to be added to the hand to be our normal summon play. Let's banish it away. Let's follow up with the Senjin. We are also having them under the effect of Fool Loss, but only summons from the deck or extra deck will be drawing from. In the back row, we are safe to just summon as much as we'd like. Wedged Temple. So I think the idea is to set up a 4-material Apollo USA. Push the Baldrake into the back row. The main counter, the best counter usually to Apollo, is an Imperm. Well, turn off the Imperm by pushing the Baldrake there. Nearly top-decked Imperm would be no good. We're going to Maxi in the draw phase, Call by the Grave. Apollo was ready to protect our C by negating an Ash Blossom, but we couldn't protect from a Finger. Finger Masi, Banish. Now with Quadra, Monster Negate, and you know, this should be considered a fair use of Apollo where nothing is protecting it from a good old battle. Which is why we didn't negate the Unicorn. A single negate with the Apollo, Unicorn would then be able to battle over the Apollo. Right then and there, she'd be gone. Cash Tier of Birth, so we gotta be really careful with Apollo. The first negate will trigger the battle phase. Yeah, Unicorn countered Apollo. It's a weird thing to say without context, but he really did. We have nothing. Pop multiple cards with the Creation King. We could fuse into a Guardian Chimera. We could banish with the Little Knight. We can negate 3 monsters with the Apollo USA. We could use Ash Blossom to gain interaction with the deck. We could Mace, take control of a monster. That is 8 forms of disruption, but now I'm going to check the graveyard. If we Reborn, Bone Party, pop, we can, you know, Darkblade can pop a back row. It's not really going to be a main form of disruption here. Could maybe, with the Bone Party, get access to the Horn to then pop multiple cards through, with the Creation King, that is. So you could summon the Horn, then pop. So I guess 9 would be essentially the ceiling. We're now down to 8 after taking control of the Unicorn. We're now down to 7 after negating the normal summon Poplar effect of searching. Still got more plays. We're going to send Poplar for Diablo Star, which cannot be negated by Apollo if you Chainlink block it, as we're doing. Diablo Star chain 1, Poplar on chain 2. We're going to still use the Apollo to negate the Poplar from equipping the Ash Blossom into the back row. As Diablo Star now grabs in the deck something like an Original Sinful, which could get popped by the Creation King. Unicorn trigger, banish away Requiem. Battle phase going into the Diablo Star. Okay. Triggering our field spell to Reborn the Darkblade to pop the back row Original Sinful, which was, again, I said it was not supposed to be a form of disruption. It just happened to be so, but I think they were just horsing around. 1 in 1. Let's go. Now to counter Infinite Extension, Maxi or Fool Loss. Easy. And of course we have that. Got him. With the prevalence of Blue Eyes going down because of the ban list, Ogre goes down. And what do we replace Ogre with? We replace Ogre with Fool Loss. Fool Loss stocks are back up. Temporarily, Fool Loss went down big time. I think we could see that on the top usage here. Let's go to top cards, usage. UA went from 60% to 36%. Huge drop, but then it's gonna go back up since Blue Eyes is no longer the top dog. We have a Quadra Monster Negate with the Apollo USA mates, and that is our only other form of, that's it. 4 disruption. Battle phase could mess her up. We're gonna try to summon the horse. Now, the second effective horse, also being a hard once per turn to pop itself, is still activatable this turn if we can get the horse out in some way. We're going to negate the Engraver. The Dark Blade is now big enough to take out Apollo. On summon, we could have activated if we want to. If not, just swing over. 0 disruption. As we are in game 3 to fully set up in main phase 2. Let's speed this up since there's no disruption stopping this. Anguish, Sleepy, summon. Will activate to fuse into the Creation King. Send a Gaddock, Creation King, and a Memento Fusion. Trigger Gaddock to reborn. Gaddock on summon, add back Memento Fusion to our hand. Creation King, banish, grab the Memento Field Spell. We're going to be going into the Fiendsmith plays now. Moon into Requiem with our 2 bodies. Requiem, summon for the deck. Lacrima, Crimson Tear. Send Engraver here. Engraver, return back Moon. Reborn. Turn Lacrima and the Engraver into the sequence. Fuse to the graveyard into Fiendsmith Lacrima. Lacrima Fiendsmith, Reborn Engraver, further turning our 3 bodies into a triple monster negate Apollo USA mate. We're going to Memento Fusion, fuse into the twin pop itself, search for 2 Memento monsters, plus Reborn a Memento Engrave. We now have the Memento Field Spell, banish the Memento Fusion, pop the Sleepy, trigger the Field Spell, to reborn a monster smaller than the Sleepy, which will be the Gaddock, trigger the Sleepy, send from the deck to the grave a combined creation. We're now also triggering the Acheron. When destroyed, we're going to add back the banished Memento Fusion. We're going to be reborning from Engrave, now going into a Little Knight. Return 5 cards Engrave back for a combined creation. And this is a lot of disrupts. Mace take control, triple monster negate. We're going to be banishing with the Little Knight. We're going to pop cards with the Creation King. We're going to be popping with the Memento Fusion. We possibly have up to 8 disruption. Pop on activation. Easy. You didn't also pop the original Sinful because we didn't want it to get rid of our combined creation. Acheron trigger, combined creation, reborn from Engrave. We could be setting up for a Guardian Chimera whenever we want to get popping. Sleepy could summon a twin. Give Ash on summon, search in our deck for nothing. Negate with the Apollo mate. On the resolution, maybe just go Guardian Chimera and pop him. Just put him out of his misery. Or take control of the Ash, then Guardian Chimera. Whale. Very nice. We played through a Quadra negates Apollo that had no battle protection, then set up our play within main phase 2. That is the way. Let's do it. Wait, we're not even going first. I got so excited telling you the turn 1 play, and we're probably going to just lose before that even is away. If you want to make a safe from Super Poly play, you make sure your entire field are different attributes. Water, light, dark. Super Poly, dead. What the heck? So the Ignumde could reborn in grave. We could use the Fiendsmith in Paradise to send a card from the field to the grave. We could banish with the Little Knight. We could negate 2 special summons with the Caesar. We could pop a card with the Ogre. We could banish with the Baldrake and then banish a monster from the extra deck. The ceiling is 7 disruption, but it's likely not going to be that many forms of disruption. Albion send a Retribution from the deck to the grave, randomly draw into the High Spirit. We're going to send Serenir plus a Titanclad, search our deck for a Fallen Albaz, trigger the Serenir, send a Branded Fusion here to then add it back to the hand with the Retribution. Albaz could try to fuse the opposing player's field, but the Caesar and the Little Knight. So what's really good here is the Caesar negates Branded Fusion, and we can't fuse with the Caesar until we get an Albaz on the field to then fuse with it into a Mirror Jade. Perfect. So our 7 disruptions now down to 5. Trigger the Fiendsmith in Paradise, send Desiree to then send the Mirror Jade. Okay, I'll summon another Mirror Jade with the Branded Fusion. And we're going to use its effect twice. We have an Albion Branded Dragon being sent to the grave. We're going to chain banish the Ignumde. What? Okay. Branded fusion, lethal damage. Can we do it? Cartesia. Wait, why not in attack position? We're going for game, man. 8,000 life. What the? She could summon an attack. Okay. Was Titanclad game with Cartesia in attack position? I can't math. Albion set up the Lost. Let's Ogre pop the Cartesia. So if you have a valid fusion, you have to fuse up Mirror Jade and Lubellion, which we don't. Well, show me your extra deck. I don't have to. Baldrake in main phase 2. So how do you use a Bestial against Branded? So if it's the Branded player's turn, as soon as the end phase starts, they have player priority to start triggering their effects, which means you have to, at the end of their main phase with your toggle on, it's not going to ask you. They're about to end their main phase. Would you like to use your Bestial? That's when you banish them before they activate. Now, you could Baldrake chain to the Titanclad activating to banish the Albion, but you don't know which one they're activating first. Add the Cartesia, add back onto the field, Little Knight and Agnumde. We're going to non-target monster banish with the Mirror Jade. Agnumde does not want to get banished here, so we're going to offer up the Engraver as sacrifice as we banish the Little Knight instead. Now, the Mirror Jade already activated. The banishment can reborn from Engrave a properly summoned Albion, which was properly summoned, which could then pop 2 cards in the field. That is a play, and we also can, Rinbrum can reborn Albas and then fuse. We can also search for a Mercurier. We got about like 4 disruptions here. Also dependent on what happens to the Mirror Jade. We're gonna Banishment. Let's reborn the Albion, fuse with the Lubellion into potentially a Star Source play. A lot of people took out Light and Darkness Dragon. We're gonna fuse with their dragon now. They're on the initial announcement of Chaos Star Source, there was a mistranslation or a word missing. And that very important word is up to the number of light and dark monsters is what we thought. That's how many pops you would get. It says your. That small word, your, is going to be only yours will equal 1 pop. Otherwise, if we did use the Albion, it would have been 2 pops. Branded Lost, we'll be searching for possibly a Mercurier. There we go. We have Rinbrum, we have Albas, we could fuse with their field, we could negate that. I mean, this is a checkmate, Nate. Negate. And Engraver Reborn, we still have plays. If you try to make a sequence, we'll just be fusing it away. We're just gonna do it right now, okay? Yep. Reborn with the Rinbrum, fuse with the Primite as we go into Alba Lenatus, which is not a form of disruption, but it just got rid of the second body. And the Engraver already reborn. So we're now going to be summoning from the deck another Engraver. Didn't we already activate the effect to send a monster from the field to the graveyard? We did. It's now going to a Typhon. Typhon, plan D. Instead of surrendering, we're going to return the Mirror Jade back into the extra deck here. Sure. As we now kit it up. Kit on Summon's going to be returning the Retribution back in the deck, just back in circulation. Why not? Ended our turn. We can't out the Typhon. Ain't no way. What the? Holy moly. Zeus is making a comeback. Pesh, there's no way you're losing this. Right? Huh? Barrel add back because we have a normal monster. Engrave, summon the barrel, set into the back row. Decade, why aren't you telling me their forms of disruption? Because they have 0. They got nothing. There's no disruption. We're going to return back Requiem, summon the Engraver. Typhon won the duel? How? Is that even possible? Requiem summon from the deck? Like, if they get Albion on the graveyard, we could search our deck for a Branded in white. But what if they just like leave the Albion on the field, right? Oh my gosh. We screwed up. We missed game. We had game. How did we have this? Who knows it? How did we have game? Easy game. We had game. Literally lethal damage last turn. We done goofed, I'll tell you, after we lose right now. Okay. Oh, no. Lethal damage. We screwed up at the deck building step by not playing Anaconda. Anaconda could have used the second branded fusion, right? We now play two. The second branded fusion's in the deck. The first one's in the graveyard. We had nothing stopping us from link summoning. We then branded fusion. We can go straight into a Mirror Jade. We could attack over the Typhon and then go for game. And then even if we didn't have that, just making Anaconda could trigger Albion in grave to search for a branded in red. We could then brand it in red in the end phase or just set it. We had Albaz in grave, if I remember correctly. Yeah, Anaconda with two branded fusion, it's even more applicable now. I think it's even more better, right? Got to make that room. 1 and 0, let's go. Let's go. Normal summon the Aluber. On summon, we're going to be searching our deck for a branded fusion that's already in the hand. So what I really want to be focusing on when I'm watching branded is the emphasis on 2 branded fusion. Well, we are more likely to draw one, and we have one in the opening hand, and they wasted a hand trap on the possibility of them searching a branded fusion. This is a benefit of 2 branded fusion. One of the first instances of seeing a second copy actually being beneficial. We're going to go into the Albion branded dragon, attempt to fuse, and that is going to be a negate with the Valor Mate. We do have a follow-up with the branded in white. Now, I heard on Reddit incorrectly someone saying that if the first branded fusion gets ashed or something happens, it gets negated or the other play gets disrupted, you can now go into Anaconda and dump the second branded fusion, maybe at your locals, but the turn you want to activate branded fusion, you cannot make an Anaconda. It's not possible to do so. That's illegal. We're going to tribute off the Albion for the Bestial Lubellion, which can also grab a branded in red during the end phase. Like, I mean, this is crazy. Even if you Valor them, they still got a way to go into the Mirror Jade. Now, especially with the branded in white, we're going to be using the graveyard, banishing Albaz, summon the Lubellion. Lubellion on summon is going to be also triggering the branded Lost. Well, at the end of the main phase, we can, oh my goodness, we had the counter to Nibiru if we searched for a Mercurier. Instead, we're going to add a Cartesia to the field to get Nibiru'd. Mercurier negates Nibiru Mate. We're still going to have disruption even after getting Nibiru'd. Woo! Tribute off that field in response to the Cartesia activating, completely denying the Grangranol summon. Nicely done. Now, Mirror Jade will wipe away the Nibiru in the end phase. And the Albion... Did we forget to activate Mirror Jade? I think we did. We should have Mirror Jade banished, probably the Lubellion, right? Send a Titan Clad, and then we set Banishment and summon a Quem in the end phase. Right, someone in chat saying didn't send Titan. I think that was a mistake. Does it really matter to keep Lubellion beyond it already setting up Lost and triggering Albion? I wouldn't want to banish the Cartesia. I would probably want to keep the Mirror Jade in graveyard. That's greatly beneficial as the Banishment could reborn the Mirror Jade. And the top deck Alluri. So we do have the Banishment to reborn Mirror Jade to the non-target monster banish. If you have an Albaz in grave, which we do, we could send a Rinbrum, which could reborn the Albaz to fuse with the monster, then fuse into a form of disruption. We could also search for a Mercurier. So even after getting Nibiru'd, we have about 4 disruption plus a Maxi. Let's get him. Can you imagine if Banishment could go into Garura? Holy crap, that'd be the craziest card ever. We're going to summon our Mirror Jade. We're going to Mirror Jade, non-target monster banish. There's the Titan Clad. Say goodbye to the whole duel, in fact. Let's hop in a game number 3. Tracked at the Luri get reborn in. Again, Super Poly is not in a good spot. Now, if we want to, we could use Gold Sark if we really wanted to YOLO get rid of that Caesar because it could try to negate the branded fusion, but the Lost will make it so it's not negatable by the Caesar. and you could really cope here. There's a lot of big problems in this duel right now, where if Pesh wins this, he's an absolute god. And that would be, the loss does not protect Branded Fusion from the Ash, but if the opponent does not know that and they try to Caesar the Branded Fusion, they then Chainlink block their Ash, and then they're not going to know to add Drill Beam onto it because they're not going to know until it resolves that it's actually going through. And then if it goes through, you then can't even use the Drill Beam, which they could then go into a Star Source, try to pop the Drill Beam into Lubellion or Albion Dragon, cannot even be further negated by the Caesar because they can't even respond to your plays. There's a lot of crazy things that could happen in this duel. The Drill Beam's only activatable because of the driver, so if we could some way deal with the driver, man, Drill Beam and Ash alone on your Branded Fusion, that's a problem, huge problem. Gold Sark, banishing from the deck. We're gonna go banish the Mercurier since the Tragedy searching for Alibur would be redundant here. We went for that Albaz. Branded lost, set, fuse. Let's do it. Very nice. Fuse away the Caesar. Trigger the lost. In this window of them not being able to respond, we have to make a gamble. And the gamble is to turn off that Drill Beam. Barrel is not making Drill Beam activatable. It's the driver. Now, we don't know. There could be another Primite card in the hand. There could be another normal monster in the hand. But we gotta go for it. We gotta YOLO, let's go. This is the opportunity to turn off the Drill Beam as we successfully do. The Ash can't even be used. We can Mercurier negate. You can't use the Drill Beam. The Caesar is gone. It's perfect, we did it. We dismantled every part of this. We can't even Ball Drake in response to an Albion Fusion because of the Branded lost. Wow, we did it. Nope, Mercurier negate. Can't Drill Beam, mate. Can't Caesar, can't Drill Beam, can't Ash. All three cards negate Branded Fusion, and they're gone. Or can't be used. Now, Pesh, can you just win this turn? That'd be even cooler. We cannot respond to this with a Bystial. We're gonna banish, go into the Star Source. Albion Branded can attack with 8,000 damage. Pop the Primite Barrel, pop the back row. We're gonna be summoning the Requiem onto the field. We already used up our non-target monster banish here. We are going to send from the deck the Fiendsmith in Paradise. So on the summon of Branded White, can Desiree send a card from the field to the grave? No, it cannot. So this would be a moment to use the Ball Drake right now. Pretty much our last moment, unless we want to save it for the battle phase. It's happening. We're going to banish that Albaz. Now, we couldn't even go into a Lubellion because we don't have a card to discard. So what is our Branded and White play going to do? Ooh, let's read the Branded and White. Wow, we got outplayed there. Fusion summon using monsters from your hand or field, including a dragon monster. Well, Albion Branded's a dragon, Mirror Jade's a worm. You could also get the additional benefit of using the grave, but you have to use a Fallen Albaz as a fusion material. Otherwise, you have to use the hand or field. You got to. And a lot of people don't even play Mood Dragon, so this possibly could have just fizzled instead. Now, what can I say? We lost Albaz, so we couldn't use the grave. Well, this was almost the perfect turn. We're gonna Albion, set from the deck of Banishment, which could reborn the Mirror Jade. It's a non-target monster banish. Summoning a Quem, send from the deck to the grave. We had the Fiendsmith in Paradise, send from the field to the grave, possibly the Banishment to stop the Mirror Jade play. But guess what? It's like a checkmate. You send Banishment, that triggers Quem to reborn Mirror Jade. You send Quem, Banishment, reborn to Mirror Jade. Which one do you send? It don't matter. And we're triggering. We can't even stop the Quem from reborning the Mirror Jade, as it's definitively coming out on the same chain link as Desiree sending the Banishment. And our Mirror Jade is now back. Now, while the Mood Dragon summon was definitely funny, we obviously just win the game now. Dark to make dark monsters untargetable. So before the Drill Beam turns on, and before the Engraver activates to target one of our monsters, they can't be targeted now. Well, just the Mirror Jade, that is. Requiem, trigger the Quem, reborn the Mercurier, which, by the way, Mercurier is not just a hand trap, it's also a field and hand trap, which means they're going to have to eat up their battle phase if they want to make a play. Or Typhon is the way. You can negate Typhon, so Typhon has to battle over Mercurier, and then main phase 2, spin the Mirror Jade. Mirror Jade's not even a fusion summoned monster, so it wouldn't even activate if it was banished or sent to the grave, but the Alibur triggers to reborn from the grave, negate the Typhon for just this turn. Retribution, add back the branded fusion. Valor cannot be used against a branded fusion monster with Lost on the field. Not possible. And the Drill Beam is still dead. What the hell? We can't respond to this summon with nothing. Branded Lost could be searching our deck here. Quem's going to trigger, reborn the Albaz, fuse with the Typhon, going into a Mirror Jade. What do we have in the extra deck off of the Albion play? What is left? Star Source would have been fun here. Let's fuse up with the Grave and Field into a Grand Guard. We're running out of room for summons. What the heck? Albaz is going to be Chain Link 1ing to again give us that protection with the Branded Lost. Very nice. Wow, we did it. We beat an Ash, Drill Beam, and Caesar. And Zeus has to be fuming right now at the fact of, I could have had a normal in hand. I could have had a Primite in hand. How many other Primites and or normal monsters do we play collectively? That's what, you could have been like 5 or 6 other cards that were in our deck where we just needed one in our hand to have that Drill Beam be activatable. Tier best deck is not playing tier. And because of that, tier best deck bricked. Memento Fusion, no matter what we draw into, will immediately not be activatable. So we have to really cope that we draw into a 1-card starter. Bone Party would also be dead. Reinforcement is a full 1-card combo play. We have the Wave King Caesar, a double special summon negate. We don't have Drill Beam. We have Ogre, Chain Pop. We have Nibiru, which will be tributing off the field. We have Baldrake, which could be banished plus a banished monster of the extra deck. That's 6 forms of disruption. We don't have a Fiendsmith in Paradise play. Now, if you use Ogre against the Darkblade gets screwed up. There's no summon for the deck. It has to destroy a Memento. You destroy it for them. Now, Memento Fusion could use the graveyard, but we don't have another Memento in our hand. Oh boy. Big problem. Now, this is going to be all on the Triple Tactics talent drawing 2. Could Ogre pop this? Okay, this is the on-summon effect to pop in. This is, could still have Ogre that if we wanted to. We could Wave King Caesar instead of using Ogre, but Ogre would essentially do the exact thing. Same thing, stop it from summoning from the deck. Draw 2, not draw 2, take control instead, okay. Ooh, pop the monster that we took control. Instead of drawing 2, we're gonna search our deck for a Memento card. That's what we search, right? Damn, that's not good. What could we have searched? Add a Memento spell trap, Bone Party, dead. We don't have another Memento card. Adding a fusion spell, dead. So the fusion, you search the fusion. We literally just needed any Memento in the hand that exists. It did not matter what Memento, anything would have been a play. We could have gone into Twin Dragon. Well, that's what happens when you, wait, I think you're actually cheating. Your name is Tier Best Deck, you're using Tier Limit Sleeves. A TCG player has been banned for less. No way. Dude had a Sword Soul token saying that he used it to make people think he plays Sword Soul. This is so much more. You can't be wearing a t-shirt saying, I love Tier Best Deck, and your sleeves are Tier and you're not playing Tier. 7,300 damage, lethal damage here. Game 2. Does karma exist? Does anyone believe in karma? Because we bricked again. Back-to-back brick. Unplayable hand. Now, the other hand was a brick until we drew into the reinforcing the army. Requiem head up. Jump off the field, Ash Blossom, negate. Now there's two ways to have your deck be resilient against opposing hand traps. One is a way that every deck, no matter what you're playing, could essentially accomplish, which is to just play a ton of hand traps yourself. You get hand trapped, you can pass the turn still with 1, 2, 3, essentially 3 disruption plus the max C. Darkblade is here. Finally, we have a play. And we're not going to chain Memento Fusion to that. We could just wait on the resolution so that we're not popping our Fusion summoned monster. We could actually get the effect of the Twin Dragon popping itself instead of the Darkblade popping it. But now we're under max C. That's an issue. Now, one of the immense benefits of Memento, and I think the deck would definitely not be as good if this weren't the case, that's the fact that the combined creation is not a light or dark, meaning Bestial can't banish it. Well, DD Crow can now banish it if we want to, but we can also banish the Memento Fusion, which very much wanted to pop the twin, search our deck, trigger the field spell, trigger the twin, 2 bodies plus search for any spell or trap, which could be the Bone Party, even more plays from there. It could be a Memento Fusion if we didn't activate it yet. So great use of that DD Crow, which you could not wait till the activation because it banishes itself as a cost. You have Imperm as our only play. Engraver, search our deck for the Tract here. We got to be very careful about not destroying them by card effect, which the Engraver does not. It sends. Thus, the Twin doesn't trigger. The Memento Field Spell doesn't trigger. It gets around 2 triggers to the point where Imperm may be used on the Engraver. Probably still best to save it for the sequence, even though it completely plays around both of your triggers from even happening. Well, let's see what happens here. Do we Imperm this? No, just let it go. No field spell. And now there's a Chaos Angel instead of a sequence. Well, the Imperm is going to be forcibly used to negate the Chaos Angel mate. Now, if we follow up with Druid Swarm, that is how much damage here? We got enough damage. That's it. That's game. Okay. Lethal damage. Damn. Nicky boy to the top 4. I don't root for players, so I was rooting for the deck of Memento. I wanted Memento to win this. That is really unfortunate. Again, 2-0'd, back-to-back brick. Let's see it. Let's do it. Branded versus the best deck. We have Pesh, who just won the Meta Weekly last week. Nicky Boy is no stranger to also winning Meta Weeklies. Let's go. Gold Sark, banish from the deck another Mercurier. Our second Mercurier searching for an Albaz monster here. We're going to Albion Shrouded, send from the deck in Albaz to draw a card, as the Blazing Cartesia can now special summon for free while we have Albaz Engrave. We have the Ghost Ogre popping the Cartesia. Now, Ogre in general I think is best used against Albaz, but in this instance it was also great stopping the Cartesia, which, what were they even doing? To translate this play, we were adding Branded Fusion to the hand through Grangrenol, send from the deck, Serenir, send from the deck. We did not want that play. We are going to Dippity Search. As I actually think about it, since we already used Albion Shrouded, by getting Serenir into the graveyard we send from the deck to the grave, I don't think that we actually could have gotten to the Branded Fusion in grave, because you would normally want to send the Shrouded Dragon with the Grangrenol. And yeah, we actually did not have that. Could send a Titanclad. Titanclad could summon Quem. Quem can send from the deck a Branded in red if we wanted to. And then we could, with the Retribution in the end phase, add back Branded red, then fuse with the Albaz in the end phase. We did have a way to go into Mirror Jade. Ash, negate the Lordy Load mate. McCoy, you're dead. Serenir is going to be decent against a Fiendsmith play. Tract, fusing with the hand into Lacrima, attempting to target the Engraver. A perfect use of our Serenir. Manish. Now, we didn't get the additional effect of Engraver reborning itself. It's now banished. Ideally, I know we did a separate play here, But had we not done that play, this is why you'd want to initiate with Engraver effect from Engrave to better play around Abystial, as the Lacrima can then target the banished Engraver to then summon it back on the field. Bro, you know you're under max E, right? Like, what? You're actually pushing for lethal damage? I think that when we are taking the max E challenge, what I'd be doing is I'd be looking at Branded on the site and be thinking, can we actually go for a game? So if we go on deck types here, Branded, do they really play Nibiru? And you would be happy to find out that they really don't play that. They already use Serenir. They'd have to maybe have another Magna Hut to stop us. They are fans of playing Super Poly. They likely don't even play Impermanence. It's just a great deck to take the Maxi challenge against. Lethal damage. Game. Yeah. Yep. We have Branded Loss plus Deploy. Max C, ain't no freaking way. You gotta be kidding me. How do we best play under a Max C? And this is why I was saying that on the top 10 rating deck list, where a lot of Asian players are doing well at Branded, they've taken Deployment out. Instead, they're playing Allure of Darkness, which does not play as heavily into a Max C. Send Albaz in the deck. With the Albion, draw a card into the Gold Sark. This is great for a Tragedy. If we wanted to search for Alibur, then summon and search our deck. We're going to be Quemming it up instead. Quem, send from the deck a second copy of Albaz here. We are going to, with the Cartesia, trigger Quem to Reborn Albaz to fuse with their field to then make Mercurier activatable. We got plays. Dippity, summon for the deck, or Cartesia is going to be the way to trigger that Quem. We're really just waiting. Wait it out. The wait's over. Now we are in big trouble. We are, as soon as the load resolves, it's going to search for a Drill Beam. It's going to negate and banish any card in the field, and we cannot afford for that to happen. Oh, crap. This will force us to fuse with Quem if we cannot fuse the Serenir and Mercurier. And we did not want that to happen. We wanted the Quem to stay on the field to Reborn the Albaz to fuse with their field. Holy shite. Ogre's been actually doing quite well against Cartesia today. No. Quem forcibly fused against her consent. What the heck? Into a Mercurier. Load searching for a Drill Beam, and what was going to be a great turn for Albaz, Branded, got completely decimated by Ogre, and you really don't think of Ogre as a good card against Branded. And generally the best use of Ogre would be against the Albaz itself. They Reborn Albaz, they discard to fuse, you then just pop it up. Well, DD Crow banished the Cartesia just to trigger Princess to draw a card for free. Thank you very much. Oh my Jesus. Serenir banished the Engraver here, attempting to Reborn by returning back the Dippity. Not today. Now, let's further turn this into a Little Knight on summon. Let's get Banishing. Banish the Serenir. When sent to the grave, it would trigger to send a Branded spell or trap from the deck to the grave. Comboed up with the Shrouded Dragon to get a Branded fusion to our hand. We have Branded opening here, which obviously this could go straight into an Alibur, search our deck. We could make the play of Albion, activate the send from the deck to the grave, then chain opening to send the Albion to the grave before it's returned to the deck to draw a card. Now, what are we actually up against? Is the Drill Beam activatable? Of course it is. It's going to banish and negate anything. Little Knight's going to chain banish an opposing monster, but the Quem wants the Coritus that is would want to be banished, as it would then summon an Albaz or a Despia monster from the deck. We have DD Crow, we have Nibiru. Is there a Fiendsmith in Paradise and Graveyard here? We do have a way to get to it. 5 Disruption. Oh my Jesus, this is not looking good. We go for the YOLO draw into a deployment. We're going to take out the Little Knights. Little Knight Disruption's gone. Fusion deploy, summon Cartesia. So we were trying to trick the Little Knight into banishing the Coritus. Please use Drill Beam on something. I'm begging you. Grand Granule, send. Albion Branded. We're going to banish the Albion Branded before the end of the turn. Wow. You know, Sometimes you have to flail your arms crazily, just hoping that they drill beam something to then make your real plays with. If you know they have an activatable drill beam, you can't go for Branded Fusion. You know it's being saved for that. You have to force it out in some other way. And if you can't force it out, you have to Star Source it. Star Source, pop it. We didn't have that Star Source play, then go into Branded Fusion. Thus, we had to scoop it up. This is Snake Eye Fiendsmith, not with Fire King, where Spectre was playing Fire King with it. This is a more normal version of the deck. Now, this is definitely abnormal, I would say. Memento with Millennium. Is it also with Fiendsmith? Fiendsmith, Millennium, Memento. Of course, we can't fit that in 40 cards. Thus, it is a 51-card deck. We are going second. The more cards you play beyond 40, if you're not having an abnormal amount of more hand traps than normal, does decrease your chance of being able to respond to your opponent's turn 1. So I would say that is definitely a downside we are inflicted with here, and the Millennium itself would have instead been probably the top card of our deck, possibly, hopefully a Max C. Let's speed on through the turn 1. Max C and Full Loss. We're gonna actually see the top card of the deck. If this Millennium were not in the hand, it would instead be, it would have been a Triple Tactics Talent. And if we're not playing that, we also count that as extra. It would have just been an Engraver, I guess. If we didn't play Fiendsmith, I guess it would have just been a Goblin. Yeah, I maximum coped. I even took the third card off the top of your deck. You still didn't have a hand trap. What the heck? Now, what do we have here? Masquerena double banish with Little Knight, double special summon negate with the Wave King Caesar, non-target negate with the Desiree, triple monster negate with the Apollo. We have the Promethean Engrave giving us 9 forms of disruption on special summon pop a card. We do have Call with the Grave. We could finger the Promethean, which may be the way. Let's find out. 9. Normal Anguish, which triggers on summon to search as the Apollo negates. No Horse the hand. We're gonna try to reborn the Goblin you milled off the top of our deck successfully. We're gonna trigger Divine Temple on your summon to summon from our back row Masquerena. Goblin in an open game state was allowed to activate to pop itself to send from the deck. We're now going to start of the battle phase. Are we trying to trick them into thinking that we have an evenly match, which they have Desiree to negate anyway? We have the Wave King Caesar negate the Bone Party, which could add instead of special summon. Unfortunately, you don't know what they're doing until resolution. So because it's a possibility that they're going to special summon, or otherwise it could have been an effect where it says you activate one of these effects. That is why you're able to, unfortunately, Caesar it. Let's hop into game number 2. Oh, is it even worth like talking about disruptions? I feel like if it's above 4, they lose. Do you need me to tell you it's above 4? It's above 4. It's above 5. It's above 6. There's a lot. I'll just tell you. But Mace take control. Ash negate interaction with the deck. Little Knight chain banish. We're going to triple monster negate with the Apollo. We're going to Desiree negate anything. We're going to Memento Fusion, pop a card in the field with the Guardian Chimera. We can combine Creation, reborn the Creation King, pop another card. We could then Bone Party, potentially pop a Horn for 9 to 10 forms of disruption. Alrighty. Negate the Senjin before it becomes a continuous spell where it would then not be negatable by an Apollo. Flurry into the Requiem. Original Sinful sending the Requiem. We're doing some weird things here. Ash on summon going to get negated by the Apollo. We're now down to 8 disruptions left. Battle phase, Call by the Grave, finger the Creation King, chain Little Knight, banish the monster, battling into the Apollo USA because you activated the Call by the Grave, but you had no chance anyway. Let's hop into game 3. Is it fingered right now or something? No. Okay, we waited for the Ash instead. Sure. This makes more sense because we know Ash can't search Poplar to summon. So we know that them not being able to benefit, if they could have searched Poplar here, if they weren't under Droll, we should have 100% negated the original Sinful. But under the context of a different game state, under the effect of Droll, this was the much better play. I think so. Nicely done. What did we stop there? There would have been a Little Knight on the field. Had we used it on the original Sinful, it would have been Little Knight plus Caesar. So right now they just have 2 special summon negate and a max C mate. Well done. Max C in the draw phase. Do we go for game? Can Caesar negate the Golem? No. It can negate a monster effect to summon, but this is not a monster effect to summon. It clearly says continuous spell. It can only negate a spell card to summon, not the effect of a spell, which we're activating the effect of a spell. That makes a lot of sense to all of you, yes? Imperm, no good. Into the back row, can't stop this. We can Doom Dragon push the Caesar, right? Do we have... You're at 4,000 life, so we could just win. Caesar, not activatable through all of this. I wasn't just holding on to my Caesar. We just couldn't use it. Bro, do you even have to do more? What are we afraid of? A Bestial? Wow. Wow. Millennium Engine is so nice. It's so versatile. It's 1-turn kill under max freaking C. Caesar doesn't stop a single summon of it. What do? I stop special summons. Well, how can we special summon 3 freaking times and you could not stop any of them? Grand Finale, Memento, Fiendsmith with Millennium against Fiendsmith Control. Begin. How many forms of Disrupt do we have here? The Regain could potentially draw into another hand trap, but I'm obviously not going to count that. Regain could Reborn a body, but we don't have Baldrake Reborn, so that's not a disruption. We have Little Knight, banish an opposing monster. We have Wave King Caesar, negate 2 effects that would special summon. Veiler, negate a monster on the field. DD Crow, banish a card from the grave. Baldrake, banish from the grave. Baldrake, banish a monster that is summoned from the extra deck. 7 disruptions is the ceiling. Let's see if we can play through it. Engraver searching for our tract. Do we DD Crow the Lurie? You can't Bestial the Lurie because there's no body on the field. But DD Crow, let's see. We are, in fact, going to stop the Lurie, which then goes into a Requiem, which then goes into a Lacrima. We just stopped 3 additional Fiendsmith Light Fiends being in the graveyard. We're going to return the Lurie back to the deck, draw a card. We just drew into a Druiswarm, so we have even more forms of disruption here. So we had 7, now down to 6, now back to 7. Reborn the Magna Hut as the Anguish searches for the horse. Now, it's very important to note here, the Memento player wants to enter a state of, we have destroyed a Memento card this turn, which turns on additional effects. The Sleepy could special, the Memento Fusion could use the graveyard. The horse will be our first instance of destroying. And now, we're turned on. We are flaming on with Memento. Let's do it. Banish the Gaddock, attempting to Reborn from Engraved to then add a card Engraved to our hand. Anguish is going to pop itself to then Reborn a body, Engrave, not today, as we're going to banish that Mace. I almost said Malice, that's on my mind, I don't know why. We're going to Memento Fusion, attempt to fuse with the hand, field, or grave, as the Wave King Caesar is going to negate. Chain the Bone Party Mate, as the Wave King Caesar can again, back-to-back, negate. Negate the Bone Party. Negate the Memento Fusion. Now, another copy of Memento Fusion cannot be activated, even though the activation was negated because you could only use the fusion effect once per turn, and we did use it, even though the activation was negated. Holy clappage, we got mega clapped. Over 11,000 damage. Acheron in hand's a brick. Second copy of Memento Fusion in hand. A brick. Brick. Begin. Yeah, the artifact sanked with the thrust. So you thrust, set the trap, and then summon a Lancia. We have the Golem attempted to summon from the back row. Maxi chained to the Golem. Many people are asking, how do we stop Memento? Well, Maxi's the way. Well, that's why we not only play Called By and Ash and likely Cross Out, we also play Droll. Droll stop the Maxi, Droll ourselves, and then perform a ton of special summoning under our own Droll. What are our forms of Disrupt? We can Reborn the Anguish with the combined creation to search our deck for a Mace. If it's not in the graveyard here, Mace could then take control of a monster. And then we also have Little Knight, which could secondarily banish in response to an activation. We have 3 monster negates on the Apollo SA. We can pop multiple cards with the Creation King, back or a monster, does not matter. We can fuse with Memento Fusion into a form of disruption, let's say a Guardian Chimera. We can Nibiru Tribute off the field. We can Bone Party off of the Horn. I don't see a Horn play here. So unfortunately, only 8 disruptions. Lacrima Crimson Tear, send the Paradise here. Maybe we're thinking about triggering it during our own turn. We have the Apollo SA, which is going to negate the Engraver, chain the Requiem on the same chain where Apollo cannot negate. Summoning from the deck, our Engraver, which can be equipped with the Requiem to then send a monster on the field to the grave. We're going to use the Creation combined to Reborn the Anguish, triggering Fiendsmith in Paradise, triggering the Anguish to search for the Mace, and the Apollo could just negate the Desiree, attempting to send a card on the field to the graveyard. Send the Desiree, activate the Desiree, Apollo negates. Yep, negate it up. And we could, if they attempt to try to send a card on the field to the grave, we could just Mace take control, or we could just do it right now. Come to me, your Engraver is mine. Use the Engraver engrave as the Apollo now negates that Engraver Reborn. You still got a big Creation King play of popping 3 cards on the field. Rebellion searching for a Magna Hut. We have 2. We have 5 more disruptions. What can I really say here? Memento, when they pop off, they're going nuts. Banish Rebellion with the Regained. Did we chain to... This is a mistake, but it does not matter. We lose, okay? The mistake was you don't chain Banish to the activation of the Regained. It's like, we're not allowed to surrender. That's the rule. If you surrender, we take your prize support and we give it to the chat. So we're just trolling. Wipe the fields. Yeah, they're not allowed to surrender. Ideally, they're still making correct plays, but come on. We got so many forms of disruption. Let's just end this. Bode Party, Pop, Acheron, Shadow. Let's make this as painless as possible. Yes? Let's not do too many wheelies and ollies and kickflips, please. Let's just go to the battle phase if you can. Okay. Reborn the sequence. 8150, mate. All right. Let's finish him. Creation combined. 5,000 attack on the field. Thank you very much for going straight to that battle phase. Finish him. As we take this into game 3. Let's see what happens. All we have is Nibiru. And this is when we have to Nibiru. Okay, we don't. We save Nibiru for another time. Dark Blade on summon is going to be discarded card to pop the dead Drill Beam. Drill Beam could not even be used. I cannot believe it. We do have 2 special summon negates, an interaction with the deck, and a Nibiru field wipe. Now, with us having Nibiru in our own hand and knowing that Nibiru is quite prevalent within the Fiendsmith control deck, surely we're going to be thinking about that Nibiru, right? The horse would get negated, and then Memento would get screwed. So we really have to pop off with the Millennium Engine. And do you remember from previous games that the Millennium Engine is impervious to the Wave King Caesar, cannot negate any of the summons? We are going to Lacrima, Reborn the Requiem, so we have another form of disruption here. If we can get the Fiendsmith Paradise Engrave. Ash Blossom is negating the Max C, which was a very difficult choice. The Ash would have negated the Senjin from searching for a Golem. Oh my Jesus, oh boy. Requiem summon, I mean, they would have drawn 2 from this play though, and I guess we had to stop it, and they would have drawn 4 cards for the Nibiru. Cannot Caesar stop that summon. Ash could have stopped it. Can't Caesar stop the Doom Dragon either, pushing the Caesar into the back row as the Fiendsmith in Paradise triggers to send a card from the field to the grave after sending Desiree. But what happens when they have 2 bodies and they have it after you disrupt them? They could then go into full Fiendsmith or into Zombie Vampire instead, which could then go into full Fiendsmith. Mill 8 cards in total, get the Memento Fusion Engrave, pop the Droll Lockbird, grab a Memento Fusion, Memento Fuse up with the Grave into Creation King. Nibiru is just waiting. When do you have to Nibiru against a Memento deck? Memento is not going to be able to set up a negate against Nibiru unless they're making Fiendsmith plays to go into Wave King Caesar, or they have enough bodies to go into an Apollo USA. We are going to, right here, right now, get Nibiruing. We're going to pop ourselves, and let's talk about this real quick. We waited for the resolution of the field spell to activate Nibiru because what would happen is we are afraid of them triggering the field spell, but by waiting for the resolution, they now get the effect of the field spell. If field spell chain link 1, we then chain 2 Nibiru, chain 3 Creation King, we don't reborn from the grave with the field spell. So we mistimed the Nibiru. This should not be happening. The Acheron would still be summoned. Let's reborn the Anguish if that is when we wanted to Nibiru. Otherwise, the other option was to not Nibiru at all. We're going to search for a Sleepy. Now, the Acheron has the secret effect of level 9 or higher Mementos can attack directly this turn. This being a level 7, cannot attack directly. Let's grab a Mace. We already used up our normal summon. We have the Twin Dragon activating to reborn the Sleepy, further turning this into the Fiendsmith plays. Dead Nibiru in hand. Requiem come forth and summon from the deck. Lacrima, Crimson Tear, send from the deck to the grave and Engraver here. Further going into a Sequence Fusion summon play. Engraver reborn by returning back the Moon of the Closed Heaven. I have to say that Millennium hard carried Memento from what I've been seeing. More than once today, we have seen Millennium hard counter Wave King Caesar, which Wave King Caesar does quite well against Memento. It could solo Memento. And maybe that is exactly why, if we were to ask Shadow, why are you playing Millennium? Because of Wave King Caesar's prevalence being all over the place. The #1 deck is spamming it. Little Knight, main phase 2, lethal damage. Boy. And I don't think I've really ever have seen Millennium be played in Memento, so good job on Shadow. Innovating on Memento, I'd say. You know, I'd look up, maybe there's at least someone else at least playing it, but have not seen it do well in a tournament. Good job, Shadow. TCG players are still, to this day, discussing and arguing why they did not play the Millennium Engine. Some people are saying that it's because of time limit rules, that they don't want to be dropping themselves to 4K life. Essentially, if the opponent stalls you in a way where you can't call a judge on them and you get to game 3 and you have Millennium cards in your hand, you're screwed. So they would have to always be side decking them out, right? I think the answer is a lot easier than going in circles and coping along that. The answer is because they're fools and they didn't know better. No, the answer is because by the time Doom Dragon came out, there's already Melissa and Ryzeal, and Snake Eye got slaughtered. So they didn't really have that good window of opportunity to make the most out of the Millennium cards. Meta weekly, second week with the new ban list implemented early. Boom. What is good here? Memento had a good week. The people discovered how good Memento was this week, or what? What is going on? Are any of them pure Memento? Are they all playing Fiendsmith? We also have a mishmash of random stuff beyond that. So let's take a gander at what's going on here. I actually want to, we'll just start from the bottom. Mermaid Atlantean, let me swap over my webcam here. There we go. Euzoria. 40 cards, looking clean. We are not playing the Deep Sea. We are playing the Barrier Statue, which is summonable from the deck with the Deep Sea Prima Donna. The way to set that up is going to be the Minstrel banish card from their hand, and then you use the Deep Sea Donna to return it back to their hand, and now you're floodgated. Good job. So let's see what goes on from there. We have Snake Eye Rescue Ace, 50 cards. There's the main deck. There is the extra deck. We have the Azamina also in this build. Well done. We have Evil Heroes, Grand Magus. Very happy to see this. Beautiful. Absolute Chad energy, 50 cards. The Infernal Rider searches for a Super Poly, right? Yep. Set Super Poly from your deck after banishing 5 cards, with this being one of the 5 cards. Cool. Wait, we're not playing Super Poly, but it does other stuff too. That's fine. And here is the extra deck. There you go, main deck. And then what else do we have? White Forest Azamina, Giovanni, toy, soldier, toy tank up in here. You're finished being teched in with a Scylla hat? Think about it. You could put this in any deck. If you don't want to be cringe and go into Moon of the Closed Heaven, you could be a Chad and set You're Finished instead. Believe it. Good job, Giovanni. We have Infernoble Knight Honcho, 60 cards. Oh my Jesus. There is the main deck. This is the extra deck here. Anything out of the ordinary? Yeah, you know, looks, we got the Millennium cards down here. I'm not sure if we were playing that before. I think we were. Blue Eyes. Unfortunately, Sage and Maiden have been semi-limited for all the Blue Eyes players out there. Still, we managed to go over 40 cards, 43 cards. Got Skill Drain, Jet Dragon. Okay. So who gets the last laugh? If you're laughing at Blue Eyes, then they flip a Skill Drain on you. Now, we have Snake Eye Fire King, 60 card Spectre. Yep, Fire King, Snake Eye, Fiendsmith, Millennium, Kashtira. We got it all. Well done, Spectre. Here is the extra deck that you're somehow able to fit enough cards into. All right. And then we have Branded. Pesh got first place last week, and now we have a new deck list to compare his first place win with. He apparently also joined another event that he got first place in. Looks like a no Max C event that he decided to win. So went from this build. I want to make sure you see the extra deck. My camera is in the freaking way. There we go. First place with this, and then top 4 with this. What changed? I'd have to more closely be sitting back and forth. I don't want to spend too much time comparing these. Off the top of my head, he didn't have Brandon White in the first list. I think that was just a mistake. We accidentally didn't have that. Now we have Brandon White. And did we go 44 to 45 by adding White, and that was it? It looks to be the only change we did. Yeah, +1 card that we needed to do. The extra deck, I'm not sure if it also changed. And what else do we have here? Titacon, 42 cards, main deck in the Allure Darkness. A lot of people are dropping Fusion Deployment for Allure. Quite interesting. And, you know, we did see deploy into a Maxi or a Fool Loss today at least once, and I think that's one of the reasons why you want to consider that. Also, if you go into deploy, you then can't go into Anaconda. We are playing Anaconda in Titacon's version, where Pesh is not an Anaconda enjoyer. That's fine. Well done. Let's see. Harpy Feather Duster with no thrust and no of the duplication. All right, no duplication in either player's deck. We now have Fiendsmith Control. Let's go to the bottom. Goblin Bridge. I'm just going to look for anything out of the ordinary here. Nothing too crazy. We've been seeing Crazy Beast for a little bit. Sure. Good job, Goblin Bridge. Zeus. Anything crazy? Main deck in the Phantasmaze. You are crazy, mate. What else do we have? So none of them playing DD Crow. And then Nicky Boy, how many crows we got? Triple commitment to that DD Crow. Nicky Boy is confident that DD Crow is the way. I'm going to have to open up the profile and see. Are you DD Crowing anywhere else? No DD Crow in your first place. No DD Crow in your second place. No Crow. This is Blue Eyes. 2 DD Crow in the top 4. And then you said, wow, DD Crow is so good, I'm bumping that card up to 3. And you did even better. So there's a correlation there. I hope that you don't make DD Crow more popular. That's a really annoying card to play around. Much more annoying than the Bestials. And then let's see what we have here. Memento. I'm going to go to the top deck page to look at Memento here. Let's see. It's going to give me a better view where I could look at them back to back to back. So we could see right here, only one of them are pure Memento. I have my cam blocking, so let me move that again. All right. Pure Memento, 46 cards, triple Super Poly, triple Droplet, triple Evenly. Wow. 9 board breakers plus the triple Tactics talent, so 11. We have 11 board breakers in the main deck. That is insane. And then March, 40 cards. Even with the added Fiendsmith engine, we're playing at 40 where the Pure was playing 46. Wild that you were able to fit that. We do have Lurid, Tract, and all the good stuff there. Sometimes people tech and maybe just an Engraver or 1 Engraver plus Lacrima. No, we went all in. Sure. And then let's look at the first place. 51 cards. Actually using Millennium, which I don't ever really see anyone playing Millennium in their version of Memento. I'm actually going to want to check to see if that was ever used in the TCG or OCG. Probably not. Very well done. We got the Aerial Eater to bridge our way from Fiendsmith into this. This is a deck that makes me want to pick the deck back up again. Yeah, Millennium seems like a lot of fun. The fact that Millennium cannot be stopped by Caesar is enough for me to want to play that. And you're not even playing Caesar in your own deck. That is quite wild. We could easily summon a Caesar, but we make Apollo USA instead. Sure. Okay. And so that is first place. And as I said, I do want to look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Meta. Let's type in, this is going to be a full search here. We're going to type in a Millennium card that everyone would be playing. Millennium, Golem, or the Senjin. So they're all going to play Golem. And then what is a main Memento? Memento Fusion, right? Or Bone Party. Fusion's enough. No one in the TCG's playing the Golem plus Memento Fusion. No one in the OCG is playing that combo. And, you know, just see the search is working. And then if we wanted to put Engraver here to also see that that is working. How often is it being played with Engraver? OCG kind of doing it here. So there you go, Engraver still on that one. But now also, what about Master Duel? Millennium and Matt, let's see just in the last 4 weeks even. Millennium? I can't spell Millennium. Milen? I think that's enough, right? Well, I could already see that's the only Memento popping up. So it does look like, let's go to the Memento breakdown and let's type in one of the Millennium cards here and it has Millennium. There's no way you're the only one. Bro is the only one. Wow. Literal only Millennium player on all the master deck lists whenever Memento came out. We even have a Chimera Mad Lad. And to see how beneficial it was for you, I'll be trying it out myself. Yeah, Zombie Vampire was great. Turn 2, it's great. It's great. So good job, Shadow. An interesting twist on Memento and winning it all because of it, I'd say so. Now get ready for Crystron happening on this Wednesday. We're gonna have a tournament this Wednesday. Let's do it.